The question that I've been getting the most since revealing the FL5, FK8 or FL5. While I can't choose one or the other, I am gonna give you guys a full walk around of the differences between the FK8 and between the FL5 because they are both fantastic in their own ways. I figured it's a perfect time to get both of them in the shop together and do a full walk around of both, talking about the differences and kind of what I like about, maybe what I like more about the FL5 or what I like more about the FK8. Now's the time. In case you guys are new to the channel, this is my race car FK8 and this is my brand new FL5 Type R that we are currently working on with Honda. I am super pumped to own both of these cars, and like I said, they're both really great in their own way. If you're out there and you're wondering whether you should stick with the FK8 or if you want to get the FK8 versus the FL5, stick around for this video because we're going to be talking about the differences and the things that I've found that I like more with either one. So let's hop into it. Quick pause. Before we get too far in today's video, I did want to remind you guys, in case you didn't already see, we do have a brand new Legends collection dropping this Friday, March 31st at 10 a.m. Pacific time. This collection is called the Tori Toge Drop. It is sick. I'm going to quickly show you guys a couple of the items that are coming this Friday, along with a ton of other stuff that you guys can get your hands on. And if you're a VIP member, you actually get early access. I really wanted to design it and that really like driving spirit, Toge run experience that I love so much when we travel to Japan, and incorporate some cherry blossoms into it because it is cherry blossom season in Japan. So that has created the Tori Toge collection, which is so freaking cool. We do have it in two different colors. We have this really awesome cream color, which is my absolute favorite, as well as black. You guys can see it right here in the black t-shirt. Has a really cool design up front. My favorite part about this drop is going to be the accessories. The accessories are absolutely amazing, outside the box than what we usually do. So we have a brand new clock, which will be going somewhere in here in the shop, but it's perfect for your office, your garage, your room, whatever the case. We have a Legends clock for you guys. Okay, with all that being said, we still have a ton of stuff that is also gonna be on the site. Make sure to mark your calendar, set your alarm, 10 a.m. this Friday. All right, let's hop back into the video. And now it makes the most sense to start with what I think is the biggest difference with the car, and that is obviously going to be the exterior. You've probably heard this countless times. With the FL5, it brings a more mature styling with the car, whereas the FK8 was a very crazy aftermarket-ish looking stock car. The biggest difference between these two cars is definitely going to be the exterior and the styling. Now, while I may be the weird one out there, I actually really enjoyed the FK8 styling. I loved the weird aggressive look that they did, the big wing in the rear, how they had the front lip, side skirts, the crazy diffuser in the back. I actually really loved the FK8 styling, and I know it was very controversial, especially how it sits now, even though it still is kind of stock. When the car's lowered, we have a really aggressive wide stance with this. We have the yellow headlights and the J's goodies. I still love my FK8 so much. And oh, I can't forget the Vars hood. Such a good piece. But to be totally honest, I was very iffy about the FL5 styling. And that was only until I got to see the car in person. This car in person looks completely different than what you see in the photos. It's very hard to get a grasp or a good look at how wide and aggressive this car actually looks when you're looking at it in photos. But when you see it in person, this car just looks absolutely menacing. And it's so cool. They took a lot of the great things with the FK8, how it has that wide, beefy stand. You still have the wing in the rear. Even how the FK8 had like the plasticky front lip and splitter and stuff. I really, really love how Honda integrated the front lip and stuff. And now it's like all one true piece. And it's not like this plastic, fake looking carbon fiber material. It's like built into the car, which I really, really like. And you can get a good look at that with the side skirts as well. It's just, ooh, it's just good. It is really, really nice. And we'll take a look at the rear back here too. Still have a diffuser, but like I said, built into the bumper. And if you look underneath here, it's like a functional diffuser, which is really cool. You can take a look at like the plasticky FK8 diffuser. And if you look down here, it is actually not a functional rear diffuser. Functional, you know? Not to say it doesn't look great, because I still think the styling of the FK8 looks great, but I do think what they implemented with the FL5 is much better. Okay, like I said, the car still is super freaking wide. So you guys might remember these T37s that are currently on the car right now. These are actually off of my FK8, and I even think that these T37s fit this car so much better than the FK8. I don't know if it's the styling or what it is about these, but on the stock FL5, these 18 18-inch T37s look much better on this car rather than the FK8. And I really love it. The fitment is still great as well. Look at that. I cannot wait till we get to lower this car. It's gonna look so freaking nice with these TEs on them. If you're an FK8 guy, your wheels will swap over to the FL5. And there's a lot of similarities between the parts that you can run on the FL5 versus the FK8, because also these gyro disc rotors and the pads that I'm running are the same brakes that we run on the FK8. I just purchased FK8 brakes from APR Performance, and we were able to actually install them on this car as well. So your brakes will also transfer over. Now for the exhaust and stuff, I do not think the exhaust is the same. The routing is just a little bit different. Looks like it's a little bit higher up on the chassis, and this one does have a valve, so I don't know how that valve system is going to work. Yes, the FK8 is a more technological and advanced car in itself, but I liked how there wasn't a valved exhaust. I don't think there needs to be a valved exhaust on this car. The car itself is already not very loud. In my personal opinion, the valve doesn't change too much when you turn it on and off on the FL5. So that's something that I don't really like, is the valved exhaust. It just creates more problems when you're modifying a car. And for me, I hate valves. I'd much rather just run a straight through exhaust and not have to worry about opening and closing a valve. But I get why they did it. With how things are going nowadays, I understand it, but the valve for me, not cool. Okay, just a little bit more about the styling of the FL5. They definitely got the fact that we were having a ton of overheating issues. So you can see here with the honeycomb grille going straight into the condenser and the radiator, as well as the intercooler right here, there's a lot more airflow coming just OEM straight out of the box with this FL5. So before I even owned this car, I had the opportunity to go out with Honda and race the FL5 at Sonoma Raceway, and we had zero overheating issues, which I'm super pumped about. Granted, it wasn't like a very hot day, but even so, when the FK8 was bone stock, there was still a ton of overheating on a more cool day. And then also on the hood, we have the vent in the correct placement where the manifold and the turbo and stuff are. So this just releases a ton of hot air. And I was driving it before I started filming this video, and you can even feel a lot of the heat escaping out of this front vent right here, which is really nice. That's another thing to think about if you guys track your cars and you want to track an FK8 straight out of the box. This one is going to be a lot nicer to track, just simply because no overheating. But I'm going to try and gear this more towards people that aren't tracking their cars, because I know not everybody likes to do that, but that's just something nice to think about as well. Lastly, for the exterior that I'm talking about is the new redesigned wing as well, which I actually really like. It's a complete redesign, being a lot more subtle than the FK8 wing. It still looks very aggressive, and it leaves a lot of room for aftermarket parts to come out. I know Spoon just came out with an incredible crane neck wing, which looks just fantastic, and I think there's going to be a lot of those coming for the FL5, and I'm excited to see that. I will say though, I do really enjoy the FK8 wing, and this is one of my favorite parts about the car when I first ever got my first one. So a quick summary of the exterior of the cars. The FL5 brings everything that we love about the FK8 and just matures it. It still brings an aggressive look, but with moderation, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. That's a good way to put it. An aggressive look, but more moderate. And I think they did a fantastic job with it, because it looks elegant yet aggressive. Super pumped with it. Now, moving to the interior. I love the CTR interior so much that my FK8 is still pretty much stock. Granted, I did put a bucket seat in here just because I do need it for how much racing we do. It's just having a bucket in here actually helps a ton, but everything else is pretty much stock. I even love the stock steering wheel. The interior, one of my favorites and one of my biggest selling points of the CTR itself, whether it's the FK8 or the FL5. And again, the FL5 just one-ups the FK8. I mean, what Honda did is they basically took all the stuff that we love about the FK8 and just made it a step better. Because if you look at the interior in the FL5, it's a 12 out of 10. Now, if you look down here, I have like the rubber floor mats just because I want to protect the red carpet as much as I can. It comes with red floor mats. You have red carpet in here. It is beautiful. You don't have mechanic seats, which is kind of nice. Honda saves where they can, and so we don't have like motorized seats or anything like that. But if you hop into the interior of the FL5, it's just not as crazy aggressive as the FK8. I really love the honeycomb design they have right here. The dash is just in your face. It's much like the FK8 where everything is just driver centric, very driver focused. The trans tunnel center console thingy right here is in the perfect placement. If I get into my driver position here like this, literally exactly where you want it. It's very nice, and I think with an upgraded shifter like something like hybrid or acuity, something like that, to have it a little bit higher, it's going to be even better than it is right now. But again, gearbox is amazing. And if you guys want to see me go in depth about any of this stuff, we did do that in the first reveal video. So if you guys haven't seen that one yet, go check out when we actually revealed the FL5, because I really go into depth with like the display and all of that good stuff. But a couple of other nice things that they added here is, oh yeah, like that. Like that's just bougie. That's nice. That's really cool. Another thing they added is like this lights up. That is so sick. That is so cool. So at nighttime, when you're driving this on the streets at night, or you're going down the highway, going to dinner, whatever, it's really cool because you have this red LED strip just right next to you, kind of illuminates in the car. It goes really well with the red buckets and then the red carpet. It's overall just like a little better. Even the steering wheel, the Alcantara that they used on the upgraded steering wheel that you can get FL5, this even feels nicer than the FK8 one. Now, eventually the goal is to be able to take the FK8 and the FL5 to a track day together so we can talk a little bit more about the performance. It's hard for me to compare them one-to-one because of how modified my FK8 is now. I don't really remember it how it was stock, but I can say when I had the opportunity to track this car with Honda at Sonoma Raceway, this car felt absolutely fantastic on the track. It was definitely really stiff. Even in the comfort mode, it was a little bit too stiff. So I do think a nice set of either, whether you want to use springs or a nice set of coilovers, will make this car a lot better with some dampening adjustment. But the car out of the box felt amazing. This car is fast. Again, it was so long ago when I had the FK8 bone stock, so I can't really compare how fast the FL5 felt compared to the FK8. But the FL5 does have 315 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, which is really nice. This car does feel faster than the Corolla, just in like a daily driving aspect. I would love to take the Corolla as well as the FL5 to the track to kind of compare those two as well, but I do enjoy the FL5 so much more. Let's go ahead and pop the hood so I can show you guys the engine bay. Okay, let's take a quick look because it does look very similar, but just a little bit nicer. It looks extremely similar, except you'll notice how much more space we have to the radiator versus where the downpipe and the turbo is. The inlet has this really nice cover now, which I see companies are starting to make billet covers for, which is absolutely sick. So hopefully that this separation right here is also an added benefit and gives us a little bit more cooling than with how close the FL5 is, which I can show you guys really quickly because it is pretty insane. Take a quick look at this with how close everything is. Yeah, you can kind of see how close the turbo and the downpipe are to the radiator there. Big difference, but also keep in mind with that, now that I'm looking at it back to back, I didn't really realize this. You don't have that big shroud covering it right here either, but there still is a substantial more amount of room here. But it's very cool to see like the differences back to back from the FL5 to the FK8. Also, fingers crossed, this looks like so much easier to work on than what the FK8 was. Everything is just so accessible right here, even down to get the charge piping from the turbo to the intercooler. That looks very simple, which we do have an intercooler upgrade, which we're going to be doing very soon. But yeah, also you can kind of get a look at the hood scoop here, how it kind of grabs the air and sends it straight out. That's really cool. Okay, so with all of that being said, all in all, my final thoughts, my accumulated thoughts from even just myself being, this is my first time having the FL5 and the FK8 in the shop at the same time as well. My cumulative thoughts are that the FL5 is a very good upgrade to the FK8. Meaning Honda pretty much took everything that we loved from the FK8 and made it just a little bit better in the FL5 while still keeping a moderate, mild, aggressive look. If you care about all the niceties and like the LED strip lighting and the red carpets and how nice the display is and like the bells and whistles of a car, the FL5 I think is gonna be your answer because they did a fantastic job with it. And like I keep saying, it also has an aggressive styling to it. But on the other hand, if you're more into that crazy aggressive looking car, not too worried about all the very nice bells and whistles, but has what you need with like Apple CarPlay and still everything that's really nice that came in the FK8. The FK8 is still a very viable option. You can't go wrong with either one. The FL5 is just new and very nice with all the most upgraded stuff, whereas the FK8 is also a very new car, a little bit more aggressive and still has what you need in an everyday daily driver without being over the top like the FL5. So you can't go wrong with either one. And for that same reason, that's why we're still gonna keep my FK8 to make this the race car and have the FL5 for the daily street, still trackable car. But I'm very curious once we can start modifying the FL5, how they'll match up there. But for now, my opinion still stands: FK8 full send race car and FL5 street trackable car. I'm very excited to finally build another street car for you guys. This is gonna be a really good one, and as parts roll out, we're gonna try and do as much as possible. I did see that Varis just released some stuff for this car, so we're gonna try and get a little bit of that in. Just make this a really fun car that if the FK8's down, I can still get some seat time in the FL5, being it's still front wheel drive and has that feeling of the FK8. So this will be a really great practice car for me while we're building the FK8, getting that engine built. And if I don't want to put too much stress on it, we'll take the FL5, we'll have some fun and still get that seat time fun in. But this is gonna be a fantastic new build for the channel, and I hope you guys are excited as well. I definitely just wanted to make this, ooh, this hood's very light as well. That's crazy. I definitely wanted to make this video for you guys. I had so many questions asking whether I like the FL5 or the FK8 better. And like I said at the beginning, they're both so great in their own way. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the FL5 versus the FK8. Which one you like more, which one you're leaning more towards. I'm very curious to know, because even I don't have an answer where I can be like, I would definitely choose the FL5 over the FK8, because both really, really good. So if you guys can't hear, it's already starting to rain outside, so I'm gonna bring the other cars back in the shop and go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I hope you're freaking pumped for what's to come on the FL5. We have so many more videos coming out for you guys, and if there's anything that you want to see, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. If you guys have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave me a like, and leave me a comment down below. I will see all of you guys for the next one. Peace out.